Okay, we are recording. All right, guys. So welcome to our Team Break Free call. It's really great to see everybody. If you can just mute yourselves, guys, please. A bunch of you aren't muted yet, just to cut out the background noise. So please mute yourself, bottom left of your screen. If you don't know how to do it, I can, but I think everybody's pretty good with that. And let me just mute a couple of you. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so after our Super Saturday, what a great event that was, you guys. It was a lot of fun, a little bit crazy in the end, having to jump off and leave so quick and race for a ferry and not having accommodations, but we rolled with it. Everybody had a great time and everybody made it home and had a place to stay, so it was really great. I really enjoyed getting to see everybody and spend time with everybody and getting to see Kathy and Jim Coover. I mean, they waltzed into the room like 45 minutes before the event and just started hanging with everybody. Like, it was awesome. Everybody was able to go and get their photos taken with them, have a little conversation with them. I mean, they were just hanging out. It was really, the best $30 you ever could have spent to be able to get time to spend with these people and then to have them do the training was, it was just awesome. I love hearing both Jim and Kathy speak. They're both so different. Kathy gets so fired up talking about the compensation plan, kind of like me and talking about goals tonight. I get really fired up in talking about goals. And Jim gets really, I love hearing his knowledge and the history and every time I listen to him, there's a new story about something I didn't know about him, and really his background is just amazing. And it's just so great to be able to hear him speak candidly and share with us, his knowledge and all of his stuff. So it was really great. So I'm going to ask a couple of people to just speak really quickly tonight and share what their takeaways and stuff from the Super Saturday was, and we'll move on to our task at hand. But I wanted to bring on Barry first because this was Barry's first event. And Barry, her coach is Elizabeth and Ken, who are cheering her on over there. And she started in April of 2018 of this year, so she's been on Isogenics for about 5 months. She is a consultant already and climbing the ranks. I see big things for this girl coming up. But I really wanted her to share, what it was like for her for being at a first event and what you got, what you felt at the what just maybe your favorite takeaway, Barry. So over to you.
Cool. Okay. Everyone can hear me okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Perfect. So for my first event, I will be very honest, I wasn't sure what to expect and had been traveling the whole week before, got in the night previous, so I wasn't that motivated to get all the way to Richmond from North Van early in the morning, and had said to my girlfriend, I'll see how it goes. I'll drink the Kool-Aid, but it may not be my thing. I may be home by lunch. So by about 10:30 in the morning, I took a picture of myself having the grape hydration and said, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I got to tell you, it's really good. And I think what really tipped it for me was everyone who spoke came from such a place of openness and vulnerability around the reality and struggles of what it means to get involved with doing something different and putting yourself into situations that make you uncomfortable, and how to learn to become a professional network marketer. So I found that very powerful. Two big takeaways for me, both related to things that involved Jim and Kathy. When Jim was talking about his history and talking about in the late 70s and stuff, going to Russia to find the scientists that were helping the performance of the Russians Olympic athletes, and how that became the beginning of the plant adaptogens and ionics, just blew me away. to think about all that's gone into this thing that for me, you know, I call it my miracle elixir, because it's done so much for me and my energy levels. And then to hear the story behind it was just totally cool. And then the other thing that really, really impacted me was Kathy Coover at the end asking, like in the panel discussion, and you know, we'd heard from Tanis a few times and her amazing story. And what really hit me was the question Kathy asked her, you know, how did you do the personal work to come from where you had been, to keep going at it and become the leader that you are? And that just came from such, like, for me, that's just so honest and vulnerable. This is not, you know, a get rich quick scheme. You've got to work on yourself. You've got to work on where you want to get to in your life. And for me, it was a message that really hit home.
That is awesome. And when he talked about, you know, when Jim talks about, you know, literally taking the suitcase of sausage and the suitcase of cheese
and money strapped to his belly.
$200,000 strapped around his belt. I mean, this was Russia in the wild, wild west, right? And so this is what they did to get our company going, right? So really, really great to share that. So we're so grateful that you came. We're glad you drank the Kool-Aid and that you love the Kool-Aid. And I see big things happening for you, Barry. So thank you very much for sharing. Okay. And then I wanted to reach out to, so Elizabeth and Ken were going to share. I know there's so many good nuggets. I mean, guys, I have pages of notes. You know, I've been to so many events. I go to 4 events at a minimum every year, and I still take notes, and I go back because there's just so much information. So Elizabeth and Ken, I would love for you to maybe each share or your top accumulated maybe 2 things, because I know there's many, what your, you know, top 2 takeaways. Now, they've been to several events already, so they know what events are like. They've been to the bigger events and the smaller events, so, and they keep coming back. So what are your takeaways, and why do you keep coming back to the event? What is, oh, Tanis. Oh, I think she's got a girl crush.
Such a girl crush. And you know, Tanis, if you haven't heard her speak, she's nervous up there, and she tells you she told us how nervous she was. So she felt the fear. She was up there doing it anyhow. When she talked about her downline, she talked about helping 5,000 women. And instead of saying my downline is 5,000 people, she said, you know, it's a privilege. She's so the epitome of someone that I so admire. She's half my age, less than half my age, because she's still in start. But then she got up, and instead of just saying, you know, rah, rah, you guys can do it, she told us exactly how she's running her business, minute by minute, from a tiny Edmonton town. Really, they're just outside of Edmonton, and she came all that way just to speak to us. I loved Michael Barker too. He's a neighbor of ours, it turns out. We met him at the Gabrielle Dean event, and he was just so generous. He said, you know, why don't we sit down and have coffee? But I thought he was wonderful too. And just the fact that he was willing to admit that he didn't know much about social media, but boy, he was in for it. And you know, he's a millionaire, I'm sure, many times over, but he's going to learn that, and he's going to grow his business. He's going to continue. Mm-hmm. So it was a rockin' day. Mm-hmm. I came away with such a great sense of who these people are that started the company. I know them much better now. Now I feel like I know them personally too. So we'll just keep coming to events. We loved it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Barry already talked about, and Christine, you talked about Jim Coover and his, you know, Indiana Jones story about the adaptogens, which I thought was fantastic. And my approach to isogenics, I come from a business background, so I think of the business first. And I've met many CEOs and worked with many CEOs of large organizations and billion-dollar corporations. And Jim Coover is such a, I'll say, down home, humble, casual, extreme visionary. To be able to see and understand what things like the adaptogens could do for the health of people, and to go to the effort to bring that to North America was just fantastic. And as it did when we were in Washington for the UIA, for the University in Action, it really helped cement my belief in the company and in the good that the company is doing, to be able to interact with a CEO like that, and on a very casual basis, hallway conversations that he was more than willing to stand around and continue, which you just don't get from CEOs of large corporations. Yeah. So
that's, how many CEOs do you know that just come and hang out with their people? I mean, they were flying to London that night. They were getting on a plane and flying to London. Kathy couldn't take the flowers she was given because she couldn't take them on the plane because they were going to London, right? So okay, guys, thank you for sharing. I mean, yeah, they're just amazing people, and the theme throughout, you guys, is, and even with Elizabeth and Ken and Barry, you guys have you've had great corporate jobs, you had great incomes before what you do. You didn't get into isogenics necessarily for the income. And then you hear the Tanis Heron stories about people who come from really hard life. She was from orphanage to orphanage, and I mean, her story is just heartbreaking, and she just won't give up, and everybody just shares everything. Everybody gets up there, and it's not whether you're an ISA-millionaire or whether you're an associate who's been in the company for 5 months. Everybody is there to help everybody, and will share whatever knowledge they have to help, no matter how far you are on your downline, or even if you're not even on the same downline, like Michael Barker taking you guys and wanting to go for a cup of coffee. I mean, that's amazing. So this is great, because this really leads into what I wanted to talk about tonight, which is goal setting. September is a really good month for this, you guys, and September is, a lot of people, we talk about, January and putting our vision boards and all that kind of stuff, but September is really that kind of month as well. A lot of people sort of reevaluate in September after the summer, what they're going to do for the last quarter of the year. If you're in, corporations and businesses, it's kind of the last push to get to your goals for the year. So, and I think having goals is really, really important. And Kathy talked a lot about this and about taking massive actions and getting out there and doing it. So I thought this would be a really great tie-in to what we're doing. So, and I want to share with you how I set my goals. I've done up some little drawings and stuff for you that I'm going to share with you. We're going to do a little bit of brainstorming. And I want everybody, I asked everybody that was on Super Saturday to come with their goals in mind. What is your goal? Maybe till the end of December. What is your goal maybe till the end of next year? Maybe what is your goal for the next 5 years, right? So and we're going to relate it. I'm going to share with you my latest journey, which has been my running journey, because it's been a really great thing. I use this formula over and over and over again to get to the goals that I want to achieve. So I hope it'll work for you guys, and maybe you can use it and maybe you can't, but I wanted to really share it with you. And it's really important to understand, guys, when we're building our businesses, and this is going to apply to everything, whether you have a running goal, whether you have a exercise goal, maybe you have a goal in school that you're doing, maybe you want to hit executive in the company, maybe you want to retire from your full-time job. This little thing is you can use it in everything, and I apply it to all factors of my life and what I'm doing, whether I'm trying to hit 6-figure income or whether I'm trying to make a 30-minute run. Okay, so it's a really easy thing that I apply to myself, and it works. The key is, and I see this over and over again, and I've seen this with not just my team, but even with the Break Free team, the upline team. We talk about this on our leader calls quite oftenly. The success in your business is going to be equivalent to how close you integrate your passion into your business. I really believe that. So if your why isn't strong enough, so a lot of people, and in particular in network marketing, we have this, you know, people are in and then they fall off. People are in and then they fall off. You know, they sort of have these waves of up and down, and they can't quite seem to get this constant, like tennis is just like, you know, shot straight up. I mean, I think she's like this, really. I don't even think she's on an angle. I mean, she just shot right up, right? Because her why is so strong. And if your why, if you're falling off and coming back on and falling off and coming back on, and, you know, we're all going to make mistakes, but if that's happening to you, I can tell you guys, your why is not strong enough. You need to re-look at what your why is and maybe redo it. So this is something I've had to do recently myself. My big goal was to have my home, which I bought and purchased in July of this year. And so I've had to sort of go, oh my God, for the first time in a long time, I haven't had a goal. And I've kind of been floundering, and I realized for me, part of it was because, and in talking to a lot of you, realizing I hadn't reset my own goals, right? So having to reevaluate and do it. And so I've gone through the process and I've sort of bookmarked it, and I want to show you how I roadmap it. And really that's what it is. So it's very simple. You need to have a start, you need to have a finish, and you need to have some markers in between, okay? I work it backwards. I start with my goal, and then I work it backwards. And I think it was last year we did, or maybe at the start of this year, we did this in talking about goals once before, where we talked about financial, setting financial goals. So if you want to, say, make $5,000 in income in Isogenics every single month, you work your way backwards. Okay, so I'm going to share with you those steps in just a second. But this is what I do over and over and over again. So as a leader with like a lot of the people on Super Saturday, I want to share with you my steps and what I do to get to my goals. So, and we can talk about this stuff every day, guys. You can talk about your goals. You can sit down and have coffee with people, and you can talk about your dreams. But if you don't map it out and you don't have a plan, you're not going to stay focused and you're not going to stay on track, right? That's really important to map this out. And a lot of people know where they're going. They know they want to maybe get to executive, or they know they want to hit 2-star. They know they want to get that first 5-cycle bonus. But the problem is they get lost in getting from the start to the finish line because they don't stay on track. They don't stay in the right direction. So I hope this is going to help you. Life gets busy, right? We all know it. Life gets crazy busy nowadays, right? Spouses pull you in one direction. Kids pull you in another direction. Maybe your job wants you to do 6 different things, or you've got a certain workout plan you're doing. Like, there's all this stuff, and there's a lot of reasons. But it depends on your why and how bad you want it, right? Okay, everybody agreed so far? Okay, so I'm gonna show you, so I'm gonna use my running as an example, okay? So I'm just gonna share my screen with you. This is, so some of you may have been following this and you may have not, but recently I have, can everybody see that okay? You just give me a nod, yeah? Okay, awesome. I recently started running, and so I had to set out my goals and what I was going to do. Now, for some of you, you might think, oh yeah, running, no big deal. Okay, this is like a nemesis for me. Running has always been one of the things I just sucked at. And I got really tired of sucking at it, and I really wanted to be better at it. So I decided to really map out what I was going to do and how I was going to get there. So this is my running goals, okay? But again, you can apply this to anything. So I'm going to use running as an example, and then we're going to turn it into an isogenics thing. When you're setting your goal, guys, okay, you've got your start, you've got your goal, and then you've got your markers in between. Like I said, I work backwards. I start with where my goal is and what my goal is. So for me, my particular goal was to be able to run 30 minutes solid without dying. Okay, that was my goal, really, truly. Now, for some of you, 30 minutes might be a cakewalk, and you might be running 15K every day. Okay, not moi, all right? it was, you know, like a mountain for me. So I had to map out, how was I going to do this? How was I going to keep myself accountable? You know, what are the tools that I needed to do this? So what I do is I figure, okay, my goal. So my goal for me personally was a 30-minute run or 5K distance and sort of time, depending on which I hit first, but more to be able to run 30 minutes and at the end, you know, still be breathing and actually have enjoyed the 30-minute run, okay? So what you need to do first and foremost is, once you've got your goal figured out, you need to figure out, you got to brainstorm how you're going to get there. So I want you to work backwards with me, okay? So you can unmute yourself for this if you want, but I want you guys, and you know, in particular, anybody who works out or does anything, this is where you brainstorm all the things that are going to involve, here's my goal, here's where the start is, what are the things that I'm going to need to get there, okay? So feel free to shout it out, unmute yourself, because I can't see the chat while I'm doing this. But for example, I'll start listing a couple of things. For example, runners, right? I need to have really good runners. Now I need to have some rain gear, obviously, right, with this weather. And Melissa, I'm probably going to ask you about that after. You know, maybe I'm going to need a watch, okay? And you just put everything down on paper. Just put it all down, put it on a, you know, put it on a whiteboard in your office, put it or whatever, right? So what else are you going to need, right? Go ahead, guys, shout some stuff out. Like, I'm just thinking, you know, I needed a music playlist, right? With something else I need. What else, guys? What do I need to get to a goal of 30 minutes?
Nitro.
What is that, Elizabeth? Sorry?
You need the amped line.
Yeah,
That's what I said. You need the nitro.
Right? Oh, what did I just do? Oh, there we go. I like that, right? Oh my God, that's awesome. Why can't I type anymore?
You need a schedule.
I need a schedule. That's a huge one, right? Okay. Schedule. I need amp line.
You need a route. You
I
need
need
a
a
safe route to run.
I need to think.
No, a safe route, like where
Oh, a
where
route.
are you running?
Yes, right? Where? Like, where am I going to run, right? To make it easy, right? What are all the things that I'm going to need to do to not get in the way of doing it, right? Another thing I always do is I ask pros, right? Who is good at this already, right? So I did some Facebook posts in the beginning and I just said, hey guys, this is what I'm going to be doing. Talk about making yourself accountable, right? Okay, accountable partners, right? You might want more than one, right? But I asked people, hey, you know, what's a good running app? Okay, there's another one, right? Okay, I wanted to have an app so that I could track my results, right? So you get the idea, right? You're putting all of this stuff down and you just, everything that comes to mind that's going to get you to the end result of what you want to do, right? Okay, so we got that, right? These are a lot of some of the basics of what I'm going to need to do. But asking those main questions and reaching out to people who are doing really well is a really great thing. You know, oh, like you could research, right? Google. We all know Google's amazing for everything. But maybe I want to read some books as well, right? There's a lot of good books out there, right? So you want to brainstorm, put everything down that you're going to need to do.
Oh, journaling it.
What's that, Penny?
Journaling it.
Journaling it, right? Tracking, right? Tracking and journaling it, right? So that I know that I'm improving as I do it, right? Perfect, okay? So these are all really great, but how do I now get started? So what you need to ask yourself is you need to pick 3 really specific things out of your entire list of brainstorming. I mean, we can keep going, but you know, you guys get the idea, right? You need to pick 3 things that are really going to get you to where your goal is at. All of these things are going to help, but I want you to pick the most important 3. So for me, okay, I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint, okay? For me, so these are going to be your, what I call your mile markers, okay? So I pick 3 mile markers that are going to really be specific in getting to my goal, okay? So I'll let you know, out of all of those things, okay, my first one that I picked was my equipment, So mile 1 was the gear that I was going to need to make that happen. Okay, because without the proper gear, I'm either going to injure myself or hurt myself, or probably all of the above, right? So having the right equipment is really, really important. The second mile marker out of that list for me was schedule. Sticking to a schedule was really, really important. And I'm going to break these down one more step in a second. And the third thing for me was the route and tracking the progress on each one of the routes that I ran. So those were the things that I felt out of my brainstorming list that were really going to get me where I wanted to go. Okay. Once you have those mile markers, okay, you can do more, but I really recommend picking 3. And you're going to want to put this up in your office, put this up in your room, put it up in your bathroom mirror. I mean, put it up wherever it is, and it might take you a little bit while, but here's a really important thing, you guys, I want you to remember, and this is a really big warning. In all of the ideas and the brainstorming and trying to pick those 3 things, that's where people get stuck the most. So they get stuck on, okay, I'm going to read 4 books and I'm going to listen to 10 podcasts and, you know, I'm going to talk to a bunch of people and I'm going to go to front runners and I'm going to maybe enroll in a clinic, but I'm going to go walk some routes. You know, you can research until the cows come home, but you're never going to get yourself into action. This is my point. Don't get stuck in this brainstorming part. It is the best and the funnest part, but it's where people get stuck. Okay, so make your list, brainstorm your list, and pick your 3 markers, okay? And then get yourself into action, okay? So once you have your markers, you're gonna simplify it even a little bit more, and under each marker, you're gonna have the tools that you need to get in the marker, okay? So for me, for example, my equipment was, I needed to have a really good pair of runners, okay? I needed to have a good pair of runners. You know, my knees are not so great, my back's a little sore. Like, I didn't want to be, you know, not having the right stuff. So having runners was really important. So going to front runners and getting properly sized, that was step A of mile 1 for me. Step B was getting a watch. So I got a watch with a heart monitor in it, and that could track my time and my heart so that I didn't fall over from a heart attack, because I was a bit worried about that. And, you know, so under each mile is your 3 or 4 things. And again, keep it simple. You can list a bunch of stuff, but don't get caught up in that. Keep asking yourself the question of, is this going to get me to my goal? Okay, and don't list too many things. Don't do too many actions, okay? For me, mile marker 2 was the schedule. I asked for help on this one. I didn't have a clue on how I was gonna, like, what distance I wanted to go and, you know, what my timing was. My cardio just sucked. So I didn't know if I should go for 30 minutes. Should I run for, you know, 10 miles? So I reached out to a lot of different people, and I ended up settling on, I asked the pros, and I ended up settling on, it's a 5K schedule, but for me, it's a 5K 30-minute schedule. And it breaks down my days of the week. It breaks down into 10 weeks. And then it breaks down for me each week. I'm going to run 3 times with a run and a day off and a run and a day off, and what I'm going to do. And then each week that time gets a little bit longer. So week 1, I ran 1 minute and I walked 2 minutes, right? Seems pretty easy. Okay, I thought I was going to die in my first 5 minutes, but honest to God, right? Okay, these are all the things that you got to do, right? I didn't say this is going to be easy. So I figured out what schedule I was going to do, and that was important. Week to week, day to day, and how much time each day. So my goal, you guys, in the beginning was 1 hour a week, 20 minutes, 3 times a week. Totally achievable, but still really hard for me. Okay, so you need to make your goals, guys, something that, you know, is achievable for you, but that's going to really put you outside your comfort zone. Okay, so that was mile 2 for me. And then mile 3 for me was my ABCs, was my route and my tracking. So again, ask this question on social media. I asked people for different apps, and a lot of people reached out to me privately. I ended up going with Runkeeper as an app because then I could share it, which made me have to be more accountable with people. And so, you know, I got a couple accountability partners, and I picked my routes. So things that when I didn't have a lot of time, I could throw my new runners on that I got in my nice new rain gear, and I could run on the ENN trail, which I have now since discovered is 2 minutes outside my door. So I don't have an excuse, right? So in those mile 3, those were my points. So everything that's going to take away all of the excuses and reasons for you to not do it, if that makes sense. Okay. And that's what I do. That is my goal. Now you just got to get into action. Okay. So depending on what your goal is, this is going to vary. You know, this may be something that's going to take longer if you're setting a 6-figure income goal, right? Obviously, it's going to take you a bit longer than a 30-minute running goal, right? Okay, but the point is to have a goal. So I can tell you today, if I didn't have this today, I did not feel like running today. It was pouring rain. I had to go. I'm 1 run behind in my week because I wasn't feeling so good on Friday. Oh God, right? My why, I have accountability partners. I posted on social media. Like, I'm gotta be accountable. And I really want to do it. I really want to beat this feeling of hating running and feeling like I'm dying in the first 5 minutes of every run, right? And I did my run today, you guys, and it felt great, right? It felt really, really good. It was my 20 minutes, and I was like, yes, you know? So it's going to really help you keep on track and keep you focused to where you're going. Like that, I can't just stress to you. And I'm just using this running as an example and sharing with you this sort of, you know, emotional journey that I've been going on. But you can apply this to anything, and you can do anything with it. And guys, this is that I've been using this very simple formula. I'm happy to post it if you want in the group later, my little diagrams if you want. But I use this over and over and over again to achieve my goal. Okay, so let's, and like I said, using a roadmap doesn't mean it's going to make it easier, right? This is not easy for me. This 30 minutes is not easy for me, but it's effective in keeping you on track with where you want to go. Okay, so let's apply this to Isagenix. I would love for you guys to put in the chat what your goals are. Okay, and the world's your oyster, guys. I want you to think big. Okay, I want you to think, okay, so if I'm going to go for manager, then I want you to level up and go 1 higher to director. If your goal is 5 cycle bonus, I want you to level up and go to 10 cycle bonus, right? And there's no judgment here, guys. Please understand your goal is your goal. You guys, for me, a 30-minute run, like I say, it's my goal, right? For some of you, that's like, you can do it probably 10 times over. I don't compare myself to anybody else. I'm not gonna, right? Like I can. Just the thought of getting past 5 minutes without dying is really exciting for me, right? So it's my goal. So, you know, put your goals in. I want to hear that. There we go. We got 5 cycles consistently by December. I want to go to 10 cycles, director and 5 cycle bonus, right? This is awesome, guys. This is great, right? This is what I want you to do. And I want you to take this as your goal, and then I want you to work backwards. I'm happy to work with you. You can work with your coach, and you can do this. I mean, get it on paper and start doing it, right? And you can apply this to so many different things. So like, let's use getting to an executive as an example, because not everybody knows cycles yet. There's still some newer people on the call, so I won't get into the cycle stuff. 4 consultants by Christmas, awesome. Okay, so let's use that as a executive as an example in Isagenix. Okay, so I'm just gonna share back to this for a second, so that you guys can see. Just to remind you once again, and apply it to the actual business, right? So it's using the exact same formula. We're just going to go back to the start. Okay, So goal would be to get to executive, right? Okay, everybody knows the steps to get to executive. So before executive, we need to map out our mile markers, right? And we'll use this as a simple example because everybody knows we need director, we need manager, we need consultant, right? Okay, so we need to make our mile markers. So work backwards. If your goal is executive, mile 3 marker is going to be director. Mile 2 marker is going to be manager, and mile 1 marker is going to be consultant. Okay, so then you're going to put your steps underneath. So mile 1 as a consultant, what do you guys need to be a consultant? You can just unmute yourself, shout it out. What do you need to be a consultant? What are the steps to become a consultant?
2 members.
Right, so 2 people under you actively ordering 100 BV on the left and the right, or 2 people on the left ordering 50 BV, you know, whatever, as long as you have at least a minimum of 2 with 100 accumulated BV on the left and right, okay? So you know that's what you need to do. Mile 2 is going to be manager. Manager means what?
2 consultants.
2 consultants, 1 on the left and 1 on the right, each actively ordering 100 BV, including yourself, with them having 2 people underneath actively ordering 100 BV. Then we have director, which we know is 6 consultants on each side, and our ultimate goal of consultant being executive. One of the things under here, under your part, could be map to executive, okay? I'm going to tell you guys, getting to executive, guys, it's okay to fail sometimes and fall and get back on and get back off as well. It's really important to understand. It took me 3 times to get to executive. 3 times before I hit executive. The 3rd time, I didn't use my map. I didn't use this map the first 2 times. I really didn't. And I really wasn't in a rush, and my why wasn't that strong. The 3rd time, I made it crystal clear. I wish I could have taken a picture of my office in April. I had a huge cardboard layout of myself, my consultants, active, non-active. It was all drawn out. Every morning I used to come in with my erasers and my pencils. I was like a mad scientist. Okay, this person's falling off, and I need 1 person over here, and I've got 6 on the left, and I have 3 on the right. So then I had my list of prospects that I would call that day. Like, I was really determined. So one of my tools under these points was the map to crystal executive, and having the 10 people on my dream team. Who were those people on there, right? Okay, and every day I got up and I did it, but I failed twice before I actually made it to crystal executive, right? So crystal, having the crystal bonuses, that could be also one of your points at each mile marker, right? You guys know that, you know, right now we have a crystal consultant bonus. So having your crystal consultant bonus here, right, which is $100. Having your mile 2, having your crystal manager bonus, which, sorry, I'm talking US, sorry, 110 Canadian. Your crystal manager bonus should be your other one under here, right? Having your 250 US, 277 US Canadian, sorry, bonus under there, right? When I was going up this ladder, I had the crystal bonuses laid out. I missed director. I missed the 750 bonus, but I got the other ones. Can't win them all, right? But, you know, I sure tried along the way, right? And then I made up for it when I hit the crystal reset in executive, and I got the $2,000 bonus, right? So you see how you can apply this, guys? This can be applied to anything that you do. It's just this simple little step of having this. And, you know, right now I have my running goal, and I'm in week 3. And to update you guys, I have a little improvement on my time every day, and I have my fastest pace today and my fastest time. Probably slow for some of you, but it was like, for me, it was really great, you know, so I'm celebrating that, right? And then I have a financial goal for myself, right, which I'm now redoing because I've had to relook at that now that I've had some changes in my life, and I now have the house, and I've had to redo things. So my financial goal has changed, and this is something that I'm still working on. So you can have more than one, but don't have, like, you can have it maybe a physical one and a financial one, but don't have more than that, because then you're just not going to stay focused on what you want to do. Okay. Does that all make sense, you guys? Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything they'd like to add in there, something that maybe works for them or something that you could add in there? What a great goal, Elizabeth. $1 million a year going into our charitable foundation in 6 years. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. So, you know, get yourself into action. As Kathy says, take massive action, right? So I'm happy to help you guys with these goals. Reach out to your coach if you can. There's a few of you that was going to set up some Zoom calls with me. The few of you that are shaking your heads, so please reach out to me today or tomorrow, and we'll set up a Zoom call for you sooner than later. Okay, like everybody said this, but it's now Tuesday and I haven't heard from anybody, so I'm not going to chase you. You send me a message, let me know your times, let's do some Zoom calls, right? Reach out to your coach, set some goals up with your coach, right? What do you want to do, guys? Dream big, right? We're all here to help each other. I would love to see you guys post your goals in the group. Like, really hold yourself accountable, right? And it's okay. We're all here to help each other. That's what we're here to do. Don't be ashamed of wanting to shoot for that goal, whatever that goal is, right? And don't let anybody, you know, tell you that that's not a great goal. It doesn't matter to anybody else. It's what you want to do that's going to drive you. Can I just tell you how excited I'm going to be when I can run 30 minutes without dying? Like it's getting there. I felt really good after my run today. You know, so be proud of your own goals. And, you know, this is one little thing that I posted this the other day, but I wanted to share it too, because it's the little iceberg thing that I posted the other day. And it really is true when it comes to sharing your goals. It's what you're doing when nobody's watching that counts, right? And people see you when you're successful and they see you on the top, like Tanis. Tanis was a great example of this at Super Saturday. You know, everybody knows Tanis Heron's name. Do you think 2 years ago anybody knew her name except her team? No, right? Because she was just doing her due and doing what people don't see. It's the dedication, the hard work, the good habits, the sacrifice that you're making to get to whatever that success is, right? And people only see that top quarter of that part, right? So today, nobody would have known if I hadn't done my run, you know, nobody would have known that, nobody except me, right? But did I feel good doing it, even though I really didn't want to? Yeah, you bet I did, right? So, you know, it's those little victories along the way that you need to also stop and celebrate, right? Okay. Melissa, I would be happy to run with you as long as you don't mind going slow with me. Okay. I'll share with you where I'm at, and I would love to go because I have some questions for you about. I have like trying to hold my phone and trying to look at my timer, and I got my music going, and I'm like, how do people do all this while they're trying to run, right? So yeah, I need some more pro tips. I'm getting there. I'm getting better, but I'm sure I don't look that great when I'm doing it, but I don't care. So so that's it for that, guys. Couple of things coming up. Sip and sample next week at my house. Thursday, 6:30 to 8. Myself, Melissa, Kelly, Candy, Brian, we're all going to be here sharing with some prospects, hopefully. We're going to have some appies and stuff going on. So for all our Victoria peeps, if you want to come over, see the new place, check out the new digs. It's not everything's up on the wall yet, but it's getting there. That's happening next week. And I saw you in Vancouver. Guys, we have a bunch of us already bought tickets. October 24th to the 26th. Yeah, thank you, Kim. 24th to the 26th in Vancouver. They have put the tickets on sale to $129 from $149. Guys, it's the best $129 you're going to spend. We have such, I mean, oh my God, there's so many, there's Tanis Heron's going to be there. Sorry, Elizabeth, I know you can't make it. We'll take lots of photos for you. Trudy Maples is going to be there. I did some amazing training with her down in Arizona last month, and she's just such an inspiration. Dr. Joshua Plant's going to be in the house, right? I mean, he is adorable. Who doesn't love that guy? Kyle Neckrush, Ice Millionaire from here on the island. There's going to be a ton of people. So get your tickets. Us from the island will be booking a Airbnb or VRBNB or like whatever that we can do for the weekend. So there's about 6 of us already, I think, planning to be in the house. So if you need to be in the house, please comment on the post because we need to get that booked ASAP. So get your ticket, come out, have a really fun weekend. We'll have some dinners planned, we should do a pajama party. It's been a year since we did that last year. You guys up for another pajama party?
Yes.
Okay. We're putting that on the schedule. For those of us that weren't there last year, we did a pajama night in the house. I bought all the wine and pizza for everybody. We all crawled into our PJs and we had one hell of a party and it was really fun. So we will do a pajama theme party. I'm going to write that down. So I've already got my ticket. I would love to see you guys there. And that was it for me. IsogenicsEvents.com is where you can get your ticket or your back office, right? I highly recommend going to get them. And that is it for me. Does anybody have anything else? So yeah, we're already at 48 minutes, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I gratefully respect all your time. I know you're busy and you want to get goal setting and get fired up. So please share your goals, guys. I would really love to see that. I would love to have you guys see what your goal is. Please reach out if you need help. Please reach out for the Zoom calls for those of you that know you've already set that up with me. And that's it. Any comments? Nothing?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Barry, for sharing with us, and thank you, Elizabeth and Ken, for sharing with us. And 2 weeks from now, there was a whole bunch of requests for 3-way calling and how to do the 3-way calls and scripting and what to say. So we will make that, I'm sorry, I just couldn't do all of it in one call. So we will make that the topic for 2 weeks from now. And I love hearing what you guys want. So please, let me know what you want to hear, what training you want, what you want to talk about. I mean, I'm it's hard coming up with all the, I know stuff, but I want to hear what you guys need. How can I help you guys to get you where you want to go, right? Yes, and we're going to do some role plays. Yes, exactly. So we'll do some role playing with the 3-way calls and some different scripts. So by the next Tuesday, make sure you have your Forever Playbook downloaded. It's in the top of Team Break Free Canada page in this side in the files. Please have that for the next call because we're going to do it from there. And then we'll throw in some objections about price and, how do we answer it and that kind of stuff. Okay?
Great.
Sounds good, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Have a great night.
Hey,
We'll talk in 2 weeks. All right. Hopefully I'm not dead from running by then. Thank you, everybody.
Only gets better.
Okay. Bye.